Time now for business news, and Stephen Carroll is back in the studio with me. Stephen, we're going to start with reports of a major deal on the way in the pharmaceutical industry.
And this concerns the US giant Pfizer, which is said to be close to buying the cancer drug maker Medivation for $14 billion. Medivation, which is based in San Francisco, has been the subject of several takeover bids in recent months, including by France's Sanofi. The company makes the prostate cancer treatment Xtandi. Now, the bid from Pfizer would come after the American firm had to abandon plans to buy Ireland's Allergan earlier this year. That deal was valued at $160 billion, but was scuppered by planned changes to US rules over moving a company's tax base abroad.
What about the markets? How have they started this week?
Still pretty quiet on the markets, as many, of course, of the European markets are seeing lower volumes of trading. But we've got London opening slightly down at the start of trading today, small gains in Paris and Frankfurt. The Swiss agribusiness firm Syngenta, their shares are up 10%, though, after its takeover by ChemChina was cleared by US regulators. That's the opening picture there on the European markets. Over in Asia, we're seeing falls across most of the Asian markets, the Nikkei being the exception to the rule. Tokyo shares up by about 1/3% at the end of the trading day. That's being helped by currency moves. Investors generally, though, looking forward to a meeting of central bankers in Jackson Hole in the United States. That gets underway on Thursday.
OK, well, here in France, summer almost over, which means strikes and protests can start again. Dairy farmers are preparing to stage fresh protests. Farmers
in the west of the country are planning to demonstrate at one of the country's biggest dairy firms in a dispute over prices. They're unhappy with the rates being offered by Lactalis for their milk. French farmers have been staging protests at several points over the past year over the low prices being offered for their milk. Andrew Hillier reports.
Over the past 18 months, Cédric Henry has seen his income collapse. 10 years ago, he paid €700,000 to set himself up as a dairy farmer. Now, he's questioning his decision.
The question is, are they going to make me lose money, or am I going to make a profit? Things aren't off to a great start.
A combination of falling prices and debt have pushed many of France's dairy farmers to breaking point. Back in December 2014, buyers paid farmers 39 cents per litre of milk on average. In March 2015, the EU scrapped milk quotas, squeezing profits even further. Since then, the price has dropped to 27 cents. One of France's biggest dairy companies, Lactalis, pays even less. Up to 20% of dairy farmers depend on the firm to make a living.
For July, they're paying just 25 cents a litre. The others pay between 27 and 29 cents. Even at those prices, it's nowhere near enough.
In response, farming unions have called on their members to demonstrate outside the group's headquarters. Lactalis says it's being unfairly targeted. But today's protest is only the latest in the long-running dispute between producers and buyers. In September last year, farmers brought parts of the French capital to a standstill when they staged a tractor protest in Paris. Last month, the EU granted farmers across Europe a €500 million aid package. But the money has done little to reverse falling prices.
Some more of the day's business headlines for you now. The new head of India's central bank has been named. Deputy Governor Urjit Patel will take the reins at the Reserve Bank of India next month. He's seen as a steady pair of hands who'll continue the hawkish policies of his predecessor. He'll be tasked with managing inflation, which is running slightly above the bank's target, and also tackling the issue of bad debts at India's banks. Volkswagen is to restart talks with its suppliers in an effort to end a legal dispute that's hit car production. 6 factories that make the best-selling Golf model in Germany are being shut down for a week because of a lack of parts. The suppliers of seat and transmission parts, are demanding compensation from Volkswagen after their contract was cancelled. Meanwhile, Toyota has restarted production at its factories in Venezuela after a 6-month shutdown. The Japanese company had stopped making cars there because of the country's currency crisis. Car production in Venezuela dropped by 86% in the first 6 months of the year.
Finally, Stephen, business students at Stanford University to see some star power in the classroom.
Certainly are. The former model, TV presenter and entrepreneur Tyra Banks is to teach a 2-week course to MBA students at the American University next May. The course will focus on personal branding. Students' first assignment will see them create a video introducing both themselves and a vision for their brand. Banks has promised that her teaching style will be engaging but tough. She says that what she's trying to do is stop people using their phones for a period of time and listen to what she has to say. And I'm sure viewers of America's Next Top Model will agree that she could be very stern if she wants to be.
And they'll all be perfecting their smizes, huh? Smiling with their eyes, that Tyra Banks trademark. Stephen, thanks very much for that. Stephen Carroll there with the Business Roundup.